The morning started like any other in Seoul until the sky began to burn with strange colors. Jinwoo Park was drinking his coffee in the Defense Ministry building when the first reports came in. His hands shook as he read the messages flooding his computer screen. "Sir, we have a problem." Hyejin Kim burst through his office door. Her usually calm face was white with fear. "There are ships in space, huge ships. They're not ours." Jinwoo followed her to the main command center where dozens of people stared at the big screens on the walls. The images showed two groups of massive spacecraft floating above Earth like deadly clouds. One group looked like they were made of glass and crystal, shining with blue light. The other group looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh, dark and twisted. "How many?" Jinwoo asked. "Over 300 ships total," answered Dong-hyun Lee, the youngest officer in the room. "They appeared at the same time, but they're staying on opposite sides of our planet." President So-young Choi walked into the room with her security team. Everyone stood up straight when they saw her. She looked tired but determined. "What do we know?" she asked. "Not much," Jinwoo replied. "But we're getting radio signals from both groups. They want to talk." The main screen flickered and two alien faces appeared side by side. The first looked like a person made of living crystal, with light flowing through its transparent skin. The second was harder to look at, part machine, part insect, with too many eyes and mechanical parts sticking out of its head. "People of Earth," the crystal being spoke in perfect Korean. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. "I am War Commander Thylex of the Zephyrian Collective. We have traveled far to reach your world." The insect machine creature's voice was like grinding metal. "Humans of the third planet. I am Hive General Morketh of the Vorthak Empire. Your species will listen." Heejin grabbed Jinwoo's arm. "They know our languages. How do they know our languages?" Both aliens continued speaking, but now their words made everyone in the room feel cold inside. "Your world has been chosen," Thylex said. "The Zephyrian Collective and the Vorthak Empire have fought for 1,000 of your years. Today, we end this war." Morketh's mechanical voice added, "This planet will serve as the final battlefield. Our conflict will be decided here." President Choi stepped forward. "You can't just take our world. This is our home. 7 billion people live here." The crystal alien tilted its head like it was confused. "Your species is not important to this matter. You may leave if you wish. You have 72 of your time units called hours." "Where would we go?" Dong-hyun asked quietly. The insect alien made a sound like laughing, but it was horrible to hear. "That is not our concern. Stay or go, but do not interfere with our war." The transmission ended, and the room fell silent. Everyone stared at the screens showing the alien fleets. The ships were so big that they cast shadows on the continents below. "Options," President Choi said firmly. "I need options. We could try to negotiate," suggested Hyejin. "Maybe offer them something else." "With what?" Jinwoo shook his head. "They have ships the size of cities. What could we possibly give them that they don't already have?" Colonel Kyung-soo Jang spoke up from the back of the room. "We fight." Several people laughed, but not because it was funny. "Fight with what?" someone asked. "Our biggest missiles would be like throwing rocks at a mountain." "Then we throw a lot of rocks," the colonel replied. On the screens, the alien ships began to move. They spread out across Earth's sky like storm clouds. Some descended into the atmosphere while others stayed in space, watching. Dr. Min Ho-yoon, who worked with computers and technology, was studying the readings from the alien ships. "Their technology is advanced, but it follows rules we can understand. Energy has to come from somewhere. Information has to travel from one place to another." "What are you saying?" President Choi asked. "I'm saying they're not magic. They're just very advanced. But every technology has weaknesses." Young Dong-hyun was monitoring radio signals from around the world. Other countries are panicking. Some are trying to surrender. Others are moving their armies. "And the aliens?" Jinwoo asked. "They're ignoring everyone. They're setting up camps on different continents and starting to fight each other. They really don't care about us at all." Through the windows, they could see alien aircraft flying over Seoul. The crystal ships moved like dancers, smooth and graceful. The insect ships buzzed and jerked through the air like angry wasps. 72 hours, President Choi said quietly. They gave us 72 hours to run away from our own planet. Ma'am, Colonel Zhang said. Permission to begin emergency military preparations. She nodded. Do it. Contact all our allies. Share everything we learn about these aliens. If we're going to die, let's at least make sure someone remembers how. The sun set that day. The alien ships lit up the night sky with their weapons fire. They were testing their guns on empty buildings and mountains, preparing for their war. But down below, 7 billion humans were preparing too. The aliens had made one very big mistake. They thought humans would just run away or hide. They were about to learn that humans don't give up their home without a fight. The first alien attack came at sunrise on the second day. Dr. Min Ho-yun was eating breakfast when the building shook and all the lights went out. He grabbed his emergency kit and ran outside to see smoke rising from Osan Air Base 20 kilometers away. His phone buzzed with an emergency message. All scientists and engineers report immediately. Bring tools. When Min-ho reached the destroyed airbase, he couldn't believe what he saw. A crystal ship had crashed into the runway, but it wasn't completely broken. Parts of it still glowed with blue light, and strange sounds came from inside. Be careful, warned Colonel Kyung-soo Jang. We don't know if it's safe. Min-ho put on protective gear and crawled into the wreckage. Inside, he found technology that looked impossible. Walls made of living crystal that bent light around them. Power sources smaller than his fist that produced more energy than a nuclear reactor. Control panels that responded to thoughts instead of touch. This is incredible, he whispered into his radio. Their technology is different from ours, but I can understand how some of it works. Across the city, Captain Narration was leading her soldiers through the wreckage of a different crash site. This one belonged to the insect-like Vorthak. Their ship looked like it was grown instead of built, with walls that felt warm and wet like living skin. Sir, this is disgusting, one of her soldiers said, stepping over what looked like a giant nerve. Focus, Nara replied. Disgusting or not, we need to learn from this. She found computer terminals that were part machine, part living brain. When she touched one, it tried to connect to her mind. She pulled her hand away quickly, but not before learning something important. Their machines think, she reported over the radio, but they think very simply, like insects following orders. The aliens were fighting each other all over the world, treating human cities like practice targets. They would destroy military bases and government buildings, but they seemed to think humans were too weak to be a real threat. In Seoul, Dr. Yoo-jin Park led a team of computer experts and video game players in a basement lab. They had been working for 3 days straight, drinking coffee and energy drinks, trying to understand alien communication signals. I think I found something, said Tae-ho Kim, who used to win gaming tournaments before the aliens arrived. Their battle networks are actually simpler than some online games I've played. What do you mean? Yoo-jin asked. They never expected anyone to try hacking them. It's like they built a fort with thick walls but forgot to lock the back door. Captain Jaemin-oh was reading reports from battles around the world. The aliens were winning every fight. But something strange was happening. Human soldiers who should have been killed or driven crazy by alien weapons were somehow surviving. More than that, they were learning. Look at this, he showed General Eun Jung-seo. First day, our soldiers couldn't even scratch their shields. Second day, we figured out their shields don't work against certain frequencies. Third day, we built weapons that use those frequencies. Humans adapt fast, the general said with a small smile. Maybe faster than they expected. The first real sign that the aliens had made a mistake came near Busan. A patrol of crystal warriors entered the mountains to set up a communication tower. They never came back out. The only thing left was a strange electromagnetic signal that didn't match any human technology. War Commander Thylek studied the reports with confusion. How could primitive beings make his warriors disappear without a trace? Near Incheon, a group of insect soldiers went missing in the same way. Hive General Morkoth found this very disturbing. His bio-soldiers were designed to be perfect hunters. What could hunt them? The answer came from an unexpected place. In a small town outside Seoul, a group of farmers had found a crashed alien scout ship. Instead of running away, they studied it. These were people who fixed old tractors and built irrigation systems with spare parts. They understood how machines worked. "It's not that different from our equipment," said the oldest farmer, Grandpa Kim. "Just more advanced, but every machine breaks the same way." They took the alien ship apart piece by piece, learning how each part worked. Then they put those parts into their own equipment. Their old farming tools suddenly had energy shields and could fly. When the next alien patrol came through their town, they got a big surprise. The primitive farmers fought back with weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology. The patrol was destroyed completely. Similar things were happening all over Earth. Human soldiers were building hybrid weapons. Computer experts were hacking alien networks. Even children were finding ways to confuse alien sensors with simple tricks. Major Sun Woo-han received new orders that made him smile. "Operation Banchan begins now," his commander told him. "Show them what happens when they underestimate kimchi." The name was a joke, but the mission was serious. Small teams of humans would start hunting alien patrols using everything they had learned about alien weaknesses. That night, 3 more alien patrols vanished without sending any distress signals. Both alien commanders received reports that made no sense. How could beings with such simple technology be causing such problems? The truth was simple but dangerous. The aliens had chosen Earth because they thought humans were weak and stupid. But humans were neither. They were survivors who had lived through ice ages, plagues, and world wars. Most importantly, they were learners who got stronger from every challenge. The aliens were about to discover what it meant to fight a species that never gave up. Major Sun Woo-han crawled through the dark subway tunnels under Seoul with his team. The weapon in his hands looked like nothing that had existed a week ago. It was part alien crystal technology, part human engineering, and completely deadly. 3. "Bug soldiers ahead," whispered Sergeant Min-Jun Lee. "They're following their usual patrol pattern. What happened next would have confused any alien watching. The humans didn't charge forward with big guns. They didn't try to hide and avoid the fight. Instead, they did something much more dangerous. They used their brains." The 3 Vorthak soldiers heard familiar clicking sounds coming from the tunnel ahead. It was their own language, spoken perfectly. They moved forward to meet what they thought were fellow warriors. But the voices belonged to Corporal Daeun Kim and her team. They had spent days learning to copy alien speech patterns. When the bug soldiers got close enough, the humans struck with weapons designed to shut down alien nervous systems. "Target down," Daeun reported quietly. "And we got their communication device." Above ground, Professor Young-Sik Choi watched his students work at computer screens. These young people had been studying computer science last month. Now they were cyber warfare specialists breaking into alien networks. "The crystal aliens use quantum computers," explained Ji-hoon Park, typing rapidly. "But they never thought someone would use simple analog signals to crash them." "Show me," the professor said. Ji-hoon's fingers danced over the keyboard. On the screen they could see into a Zephyrian command ship. The aliens were completely unaware that humans were watching their every move. "It's like they built the most advanced lock in the universe," Ji-hoon grinned, but forgot that someone might just knock on the door. Dr. Haewon Young had been studying alien psychology for 5 days straight. She had learned disturbing things about both species. "The crystal aliens care about honor and fighting fairly," she explained to the military commanders. "The bug aliens follow orders without thinking. Both of these things can be used against them." "How?" asked Colonel Jae-hee-yoon. "The crystal ones will always accept a challenge to single combat. The bug ones will always obey a superior officer. We just need to make them think we're following their rules." In the field, Lieutenant Ye-jin Seo was putting this knowledge to work. Her team had built devices that could broadcast sounds on frequencies that scared each alien species. The crystal aliens heard sounds that challenged their honor. The bug aliens heard fake orders from superior officers. "It's working," she reported. "Both groups are getting confused and making mistakes. The breakthrough came when Captain Dongmin Park successfully hacked into a Zephyrian command ship. What he found changed everything they thought they knew about the invasion. "Admiral," he called Subin Kim on the secure channel. "You need to see this. The aliens aren't trying to conquer Earth. They're using us as a testing ground." "What do you mean?" "They've done this before. They find a primitive planet, fight their war on it, then leave. They don't care about the local species at all. We're just scenery to them." Admiral Subin's voice was cold when she replied, "Then let's show them what this scenery can do." The next morning brought reports that made both alien commanders very worried. Human forces weren't just surviving anymore, they were hunting. A crystal patrol near Busan was found dead with their own weapons turned against them. A bug soldier unit outside Incheon had been infected with a virus that made their biomechanical parts attack each other. War Commander Thylex stared at the intelligence reports. How were these primitive creatures learning so fast? His tactical. Computers couldn't predict human behavior because humans kept doing things that seemed impossible. Hive General Morkith faced the same problem. His bio-soldiers were designed to adapt to any threat, but they couldn't adapt fast enough. The humans were changing their tactics faster than evolution should allow. Captain Min-Kyu Lee led his Special Forces team into a captured Vorthak facility. Instead of fighting their way in, they had disguised themselves as maintenance drones using stolen technology. "Remember," he whispered to his team, "we're not here to destroy everything. We're here to learn and then make them destroy themselves." They planted devices throughout the alien base that would slowly convince the biomechanical systems that they were under attack by their own immune systems. In 3 days, the entire facility would tear itself apart from the inside. Colonel Yuri Park received battlefield reports from around the world. The pattern was the same everywhere. Human forces would lose the first battle, learn from it, then win the second. By the third battle, they were teaching the aliens new ways to lose. "Ma'am," reported Captain Wu Jin Seo, "both alien fleets are requesting reinforcements. They're taking heavier casualties than they expected." "Good," Yuri replied, "but we're just getting started." The most disturbing reports came from human soldiers who had been exposed to alien mind control weapons. Instead of being controlled, many of them had developed immunity. Some could even turn the mental attacks back on their attackers. "It's like they're evolving," one medic reported. "Not physically, but mentally. They're becoming something the aliens never planned for." Dr. Min Ho-yoon studied the latest technology samples his teams had recovered. Human engineers were now building weapons that combined the best of both alien technologies with human creativity. "We're not just copying their technology anymore," he explained to the military leaders. "We're improving it, making it better than the original." Both alien commanders began to realize they had made a terrible mistake. They had chosen Earth because they thought it was populated by weak, primitive creatures who would be easy to ignore. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, a species that turned every defeat into a lesson, every challenge into an opportunity, and every enemy weapon into a tool for their own use. The war was about to change in ways neither alien species could imagine. Colonel Jin-A Kwan stood inside what used to be a Vorthak command bunker. Now it belonged to humans. Her technical teams were taking apart every piece of alien equipment, learning its secrets and making it better. "Ma'am," Captain Wu Jin Seo approached with a tablet full of data. "Operation Kimchi is ready to begin." The name made her smile. Kimchi needed time to ferment and become strong, just like their plan to turn the aliens' own war against them. High, above Earth, Lieutenant Commander Hyun-Woo Kim flew a stolen crystal fighter through the alien fleet. His ship looked exactly like a Zephyrian vessel, but human engineers had improved every system. It was faster, stronger, and deadlier than the original. Approaching the target, he whispered into his communicator, beginning the information attack. What happened next was beautiful in its simplicity. Using captured alien codes and knowledge of alien psychology, humans began feeding false information to both fleets. The crystal aliens learned that the bug aliens were planning to break their honor agreement and keep Earth for themselves. The bug aliens received data showing that the crystal aliens were building planet-destroying weapons. Dr. Seung-Min Yoon, watched the results from his underground command center. Both fleets are moving into attack positions against each other. They're so focused on their enemy, they've forgotten about us completely. That was exactly what General Kyung-hwan Jeon had been waiting for. The human counterattack began at sunrise, coordinated across all continents at the same time. Major Sora Kim led ground forces against crystal alien positions using tactics that combined military training with alien technology and pure human stubbornness. The aliens discovered they were fighting an enemy that refused to follow normal rules of war. Human soldiers would retreat when they were winning, attack when they should be running away, and constantly use strategies that alien computers labeled as impossible or crazy. They're not fighting like any species we've encountered, War Commander Thylex told his officers. Our battle computers cannot predict their actions. Captain Min-Kyu Lee proved this point perfectly. He led his team into a Vorthak bioship by disguising them as cleaning drones. Once inside, they didn't try to blow anything up or steal information. Instead, they introduced a computer virus that made the ship's living parts think they were being attacked by their own immune system. The massive bioship began destroying itself from the inside, its own defenses turning against its vital organs. Target eliminated, Min-Kyu reported calmly. The ship thought it had cancer and killed itself trying to cure it. Colonel Yuri Park received similar reports from battlefield commanders around the world. Alien casualties were rising not because humans had better weapons, but because they were fighting an enemy that learned from every mistake and turned every defeat into a future victory. In the Pacific, Admiral Chang-ho Kim commanded a fleet of ships that shouldn't have existed. They were built from salvaged alien technology, human engineering, and desperate creativity. His flagship alone carried weapon systems from 3 different alien civilizations, all improved by human modifications. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're detecting massive confusion in both alien fleets. They're firing on each other more than they're firing on us. Good, Chang-ho replied. Phase 2 begins now. Human cyber warfare specialists had spent weeks mapping alien communication networks. Now they activated their masterpiece. Every alien ship suddenly received emergency broadcasts in their own languages, warning them about immediate threats from the other side. The crystal aliens heard that bug soldier infiltrators were aboard their ships, ready to plant bioweapons. The bug aliens learned that crystal warriors were preparing to use mind control rays on their commanders. Panic spread through both fleets like wildfire. Captain Jae-hee-yoon led her ground forces against a major Zephyrian stronghold, but not with a direct attack. Instead, her soldiers surrounded the base and began broadcasting challenges to single combat in perfect crystal alien language. The honor-bound Zephyrians couldn't ignore such challenges. One by one, their best warriors left the safety of their base to fight humans in fair combat. Each fight was recorded and broadcast to other crystal aliens, showing humans defeating their champions with skill and courage. Their morale is collapsing, Jae-hee reported. They can't understand how primitive beings are beating their greatest warriors. The truth was that humans weren't primitive. They were experienced fighters who had survived countless wars by learning to use every advantage, no matter how small. Major Si Jin-oh commanded the largest cyber warfare operation in human history. His team of former gamers, hackers, and computer scientists launched coordinated attacks on both alien fleets simultaneously. Initiating Cascade Failure Protocol, he announced. Alien ships began experiencing system failures as human-designed. Viruses exploited weaknesses in their technology. Crystal matrix computers shattered like glass. Biomechanical systems turned against their own ships. Navigation systems sent vessels crashing into each other. Hive General Morketh watched his fleet tear itself apart and couldn't understand how it was happening. His bioships were designed to be perfect, but they were dying from infections that seemed to come from nowhere. War Commander Thylex faced the same impossible situation. His crystalline vessels were failing as harmonic frequencies destroyed their delicate quantum systems. Both commanders received reports that made no sense. Human forces were not just surviving but actively hunting alien patrols like predators. More terrifying, they were demonstrating tactical flexibility that seemed to violate the laws of evolution. How are they adapting so quickly? Thylex demanded. His science officer could only shake his crystalline head. Unknown, Commander. They appear to be learning faster than our computers can model. The breakthrough moment came when Captain Dongwook Han successfully captured an entire Vorthak cruiser with only 12 soldiers. They had used psychological warfare to convince the bioship's crew that they were already dead, and fighting was pointless. "Ma'am," he reported to Admiral Subin Kim, "we now have a fully functional enemy capital ship. Our engineers are very excited." Both alien fleets began emergency retreats as human forces pressed their advantage. The species they had dismissed as primitive was systematically destroying two of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. The hunters had become the hunted, and Earth's children were very good at hunting. President So Young Choi stood in the deep underground war room beneath Seoul, watching screens that showed the final phase of humanity's answer to their unwelcome visitors. Around her, military leaders and scientists prepared for what would either be Earth's greatest victory or its last battle. "All stations ready," announced Admiral Chang Ho Kim. "Operation Bulgogi is go." The name was perfect. Bulgogi needed the right ingredients, careful preparation, and perfect timing, just like their plan to serve both alien fleets a meal they would never forget. High above Earth, Captain Min Seok Shin piloted humanity's new flagship through space. The ship was built from pieces of destroyed alien vessels, powered by technology that shouldn't exist, and crewed by people who had been civilians just weeks ago. "All ships, this is Kimchi Leader," he broadcast to the human fleet. "Remember, we're not just fighting for our planet. We're showing the galaxy what happens when you mess with humans." The final attack began exactly at noon. Every human military base, every resistance group, every hacker and weekend warrior who had spent weeks preparing for this moment struck at the same time across the entire planet. Colonel Jae-hee-yoon led ground forces against crystal alien positions using weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology in ways that neither species had thought possible. Her soldiers didn't just attack. They systematically destroyed the enemy's ability to think, fight, and coordinate. "Target their command crystals first," she ordered. "Make them blind, then make them deaf, then finish them." Major Si Jin-oh commanded the cyber warfare attack, launching computer viruses designed to exploit each alien species' weaknesses. The crystal aliens watched their quantum networks collapse like houses of cards. The bug aliens found their biomechanical systems attacking their own ships. But the real masterpiece came from Dr. Yoon-Hae Park, a weather scientist who had become a military strategist. She had studied Earth's magnetic field and discovered something incredible about alien technology. "Activating Project Ondol," she announced, naming it after the traditional Korean heating system that warmed entire houses efficiently. What happened next would be remembered forever. Using modified alien equipment, human engineers created a resonance effect that turned Earth's magnetic field into a planetary weapon. Both alien fleets suddenly found their shields failing, their weapons overloading, and their ship hulls cracking from vibrations they couldn't stop. War Commander Thylex stared at his control screens in horror. His advanced fleet was being destroyed by primitives using technology they had barely understood a month ago. "How is this possible?" he demanded. His science officer's crystalline form was flickering with panic. "Unknown, Commander. They have turned our own physics against us." Hive General Morketh faced the same nightmare. His bioships were dying, infected by hybrid viruses that combined human computer code with Vorthak bioprogramming in ways that created total system failures. "Retreat," both commanders ordered at the same time. But retreating wasn't easy. Human forces had surrounded both fleets using captured alien vessels improved with human modifications. Every escape route was blocked by enemies who had learned to think like predators. Captain Dongwook Han watched the alien fleets try to flee from his hybrid command ship. Around him, former office workers and college students operated advanced weapon systems like they had been born to it. "Sir," Communications Officer Hye-Rin Kim reported, 17 alien ships are requesting surrender. They want protection from their own fleets. Dongwook smiled. "Grant them sanctuary. But make sure they understand our rules. Earth's protection comes with Earth's values. The battle was ending, but not the way anyone had expected. Instead of destroying the fleeing aliens completely, humans began broadcasting a message to both fleets. President Choi's voice carried across space in multiple alien languages. You came to our world because you thought we were weak. You learned that humans are not just another species. We are the species that turns every challenge into a reason to become stronger. Tell your governments, tell your allies, tell everyone. Earth is not a battleground. Earth is home, and humans protect their home. The surviving alien ships fled beyond the solar system, broadcasting warnings that would echo across the galaxy. Earth designation, extreme danger. Species classification, apex predator. Recommendation, complete avoidance. But some aliens chose differently. 17 ships remained in Earth orbit, their crews requesting asylum from their own civilizations. Why do they want to stay? President Choi asked. Admiral Subin Kim smiled. Because they've seen what happens when humans accept you as friends, instead of fighting you as enemies. They want to be on our side. Dr. Min Ho Yun was already working in the captured alien vessels with teams of human engineers. They were learning technologies that would soon carry humanity to the stars, but with human improvements that made them better than the originals. Ma'am, he reported to the president, we now have faster-than-light travel, advanced manufacturing, and defensive systems that are superior to anything in the galaxy. The aliens didn't just give us a war, they gave us the tools to explore the universe. Young Dong-hyun, who had been monitoring communications throughout the crisis, looked up from his screens with wonder. We're receiving messages from other worlds. Dozens of civilizations want to establish contact with Earth. Word is spreading that humans are different. President Choi looked out at the stars through the reinforced windows. A month ago, Earth had been alone in the universe. Now, humanity had allies among the stars and technology beyond their dreams. They chose Earth as their battleground because they thought we were nothing special, she said quietly. That was their mistake. Now it's our turn to make choices. The war was over, but humanity's journey to the stars was just beginning. And everywhere they went, other species would remember the lesson learned at Earth. Never underestimate humans. They protect what they love and they love their home.